The evidence seems to indicate that you're watching Dolly Vision.
Topping up, Dolly Vision streaming real. True crime scene makes me feel so unreal. YouTube madness like share, subscribe. Jack's on fire, burning the world's fire. Where's the baby missing shadows crawl? People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, there's the route down known. Dolly Vision headlines, King of Peace. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shouting, echoes in the night. Mark the truth while live on air light. Topping up, Dolly Vision streaming real. True crime scene makes me feel so unreal. YouTube madness like share, subscribe. Jack's on fire, burning the world's fire. Where's the baby missing shadows crawl? People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, there's the route down known. Dolly Vision headlines, King of Peace. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shouting, echoes in the night. Rock the truth while live on air light.
What is up, YouTube? It is Dolly back in the house again today. And of course, I got the lovely PJ with me. Say hello, PJ.
Hello, PJ.
Hello, PJ. All right, anyway, you guys already know the routine. Tonight, we're talking Maddie Soto, Jenn Soto. The big question, is she still in love with Stephan Stearns? Okay. And also, Leilani Simon. Will she walk this week? They select her jury and her trial starts. But first, make sure you leave your DNA on that like button just in case you go missing. In a hurricane, we got what? Hurricane Milton about to hit Florida on Wednesday. So just in case you go missing, we're going to need your DNA on file. So make sure you leave your DNA on that like button. And if you're brand new, make sure you sub up, ring the bell for notification. Help us hit 60,000 subscribers. Damn, PJ, that is a lot of people. 60,000. That is a lot of people. Look at this face right here. So, anyway, what do you want to start it with? Do you want to start it with the Leilani stuff, or do you want to start it with the Jenn Soto stuff?
Leilani.
Leilani Simon. Anybody remember that crazy ass woman? 22 years old. She calls the police and says somebody kidnapped her son, Quentin Simon. Okay. Cute little, beautiful little boy went missing in Savannah, Georgia. Chatham County, to be exact. Some people call them Cheatham County. Cheatham, because they like to cheat your ass, right? I know all about it. They got plenty of Dolly's money while he was there, okay? The courts, the lawyers, they all got all my damn money. That's what they got. Okay, so anyway, this woman allegedly, what did she do allegedly, PJ?
She allegedly beat her baby with an object and threw him in the trash.
Beat her baby with an object and threw him in the trash. Okay, now I don't know if she technically threw him in the trash. She could have placed him. She could have placed him in the trash.
I mean, you kind of have to into any dumpster that I've ever seen.
Well, no,
it
has
gently place anything into
I went there. They had this dumpster does have the flip open top, but it also had the door that slid on the side. But either way, she chunked the damn baby in the damn dumpster. She's
not a damn baby.
I know people get mad at me when I say damn.
I know, because it sounds crude. It sounds icky. I don't know how to explain
I
it.
take the dam back. She threw the baby. She chunked the baby in the trash without
Her
the
damned
dam.
ass threw the baby.
Her
in the
damned
trash.
ass. Her damned ass.
That
okay?
sounds better.
Does it sound better?
That sounds
okay.
a lot
Well,
better.
I'm working on it. Small steps, people. Small steps. So her damn ass placed the baby
Better.
in the dumpster, and that dumpster went to the landfill. And of course, trigger warning.
Severe trigger warning.
You know, he got compacted in the trash can, in the trash truck, okay, in the trash truck. And then he was dumped and he was ran over with bulldozers and excavators, and he set out in the damn, can I say damn when I say landfill? The damn landfill, okay? He set out in the landfill, and of course, in Georgia weather, it was hot. It was damn hot. And of course, there was not much left of little Quentin Simon.
The people looking for him were out there like with a tooth and comb. Like,
yes, they were
horrific.
You know, a lot of people gave them a lot of hard time because the searchers at the landfill were taking off on the weekends, right? And people were like, "Why are they taking off?"
Because it was freaking traumatic.
Yes, and plus they needed rest. They've been digging through trash all week long. You got to have a little break from that,
right?
You know, and basically what they did is they found partial remains of Quentin Simon.
And he still hasn't been buried.
And they didn't find but enough to put maybe a shoebox full of bones. But, you know, what they're alleging is she took an object and beat him to death.
They have to have some evidence of that.
But listen, you would think if they had evidence that she beat the baby to death, they would have arrested her. You know, when they were saying there was no evidence in the home. Nothing, because they didn't have no evidence to arrest her until they found the baby. She was the number one suspect.
I don't think that's necessarily true, because you know how so many states refuse to prosecute until there's remains. I think that's just to solidify the charges that they feel they have.
Well, I mean, they would need, if they're going to say she beat her to death with an object, they're going to need a murder weapon.
How do you
right?
know they don't have it?
Well, if they don't, then you have no murder weapon. And, you know, you can't just take any stick. It has to be a stick that has Quentin Simon's blood.
It didn't say it was a stick. It
could have been a broom.
States an object.
Or anything, whatever she allegedly would have hit him with is going to have his blood on it. And to say you killed somebody, it has to be enough blood that you can determine that this is enough to cause death.
Well, I'm guilty beyond a shadow of a doubt. Yes. So they're going to have to prove that she did it.
Yes. And already they're trying to get some of the witnesses thrown out of the court hearing because
the defense.
Yeah, the defense, because it don't, you know, they're saying that they're trying to make Leilani look bad by bringing in a bunch of people to say bad things about her, but they don't have any evidence about her killing the baby. So what good is their testimony in court?
Oh, so you're saying that they're trying to bring in like a friend from 6th grade that just had her steal her boyfriend or something? Yeah, just a bad character judgment.
Yeah, just making her out to be, you know, nothing to do with the baby being killed, just that she's a bad person.
That doesn't seem
to make her look bad. And they're trying to throw them witnesses out. Of course, the babysitter, everybody that followed the Quentin Simon case, remember the really sweet babysitter that lived down the street. She is going to be there to testify.
Of course she is.
Of course, Danny, the boyfriend.
I think, had the most crucial evidence and have the most testimony.
I believe this, that he's accessory to this murder, guys. That he has taken part in this, or he turned a blind eye to it and didn't do nothing to stop it or notify authorities, because you got to remember, he's the one that called the babysitter and said, hey, they didn't need him. And then she took his car and went to the dump with the baby.
Well, listen, to
the trash can.
Okay. For example, if you and I are together and I have a small toddler that I'm throwing around the house and beating anytime I feel like he pissed me off for no reason, and you're sitting there watching that occur 24/7 while you're with me, you have to be a special type of person.
Terrible person, because I wouldn't allow that. As soon as you did that, I would stop you.
Same.
You know, so he's allowing this because, you know, they were doing drugs together. They were partying together. And they'd probably still be together if it wasn't for the unaliving of this baby. And like I told everybody the other day, I think we're going to see some Adam Montgomery, Kayla Montgomery type stuff going on. She's going to point the finger at him. She's going to he's going to point the finger at her.
We'll see. I don't think so.
Or she ain't going to say that at all, and she's going to say the baby drowned in the pool, the baby fell down the stairs, or the baby drowned in the bathtub, and she didn't kill the baby.
Somebody said she texted her from his phone.
She texted her on his phone.
The babysitter.
That ain't what the babysitter said.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just reading what the chat said.
Yeah, that ain't what the babysitter said. So either way, he was definitely there.
He was a witness to the alleged abuse.
Okay,
Clearly.
well then he would have had to seen her unalived as baby.
See,
he would have
I'm not
had
saying
to
that
have known.
day. I'm just saying with the different people that have come out and said, hey, this lady was just unimaginably abusive towards this poor baby just because she felt like, he was getting on her nerves that day. Like she just was abusive. And so you can't tell me that whole time they were dating that she wasn't abusive.
Don't make you a murderer, though. You got to remember this, because you can be abusive and that don't mean you a killer.
When you have a toddler that is that small and fragile, any excessive, it doesn't really even necessarily have to be overly excessive as far as abuse. If you hit that kid the wrong way and he, let's say, falls and hits his head, that's a wrap. That's it.
If I was defending Leilani in court, which I'm not defending her, but I would say, well, you witnessed this. Why didn't you do anything about it? If she was doing all this beating and she was doing it in front of you,
neglect is
why
abuse.
didn't you say anything then? Why are you saying something now?
I mean, he did say something on that day. That's why he disappeared. That's why we saw him vanish.
Well, he didn't disappear till 4 days later.
I mean,
so he was there 4 days after.
He definitely went away, and you were saying how he was the one probably that did it, and I don't agree, because he literally went away right when he was talking to the authorities, and I believe he told the whole story of what happened.
I don't think he did it, but Leilani said to me that he was beating on the child.
You
too.
have a really, 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 you believed anything
No, I didn't say I believed her. I'm just saying this is what she said.
Okay.
Okay. And if she was saying that then, what makes you think she ain't going to say that now?
That's true.
She can go into court and in front of a jury go, he beat the kid to death and I threw it in the dumpster.
Yeah.
And then where do you go from there? Right?
I mean, I would hope they would have some kind of proof as to why they're claiming what they're claiming. She's got 3 different murder charges. Is that normal?
She has what? Murder with malice, first-degree murder, and just
I gotta look it up because
it's 19 charges.
Different.
It's 19 charges totally. Most of them charges are for lying, and there's no way she's not going to get convicted of that. We know that she's going to get convicted of the lying, disposing of a body, which that carries 10 years alone. Disposing of a body, right? The lying probably ain't the biggest thing. They probably
file a false police report,
filing the false police reports, lying to authorities.
I think 19 charges were specifically of the lies.
Yeah,
so
just
she's
lies.
got more than 19 charges.
Yeah, but a lot of that, say they give her, let's just say they give her 3 years for lying to authority. They got her 15 times for it. They're going to run them concurrent.
Together.
Yeah. So she'll really 15 charges. They give her 3 years on each one. She'll only do 3 years. Okay.
Yeah, that's
so,
shocking.
and then if she comes in there with anything else, like the Casey Anthony defense, that I didn't do it, and then you got no murder weapon, you got no way to prove that baby was beat to death. The question, I've been asking, is Leilani going to walk? I don't really think they have any evidence from inside the house because they didn't have enough to arrest her with in the beginning.
I think they did. I think they just didn't want to arrest until they found the body, because that's what a lot of states seem to do, is they wait until they find a body.
Virginia don't.
I know that's because Virginia, it's completely opposite of every other state that I've ever seen do a murder. It's weird. But I mean, if you think about it, every other case that we've dealt with that had
now, if they would have
murder,
found blood, they could have said, okay, well, that's enough right there to say this child is no longer with us and charged her. But, they may have wanted to make sure everything was in a row because, once you charge somebody,
you can't undo it.
Yeah, you can't undo it.
And then if you do it wrong and don't have enough, then they just walk.
That's right. So I think they're hitting all these murder charges on her, hoping that one of those murder charges stick, abuse of a corpse, right? Yes. So she's definitely facing some time, and she's definitely going to be found guilty on some of it. But here's the thing, out of all of it, Leilani never said anything about how the baby died. She never did. She never talked. She never said anything. She's never said nothing to the police about how the baby died. So when she comes out in court, the first you're going to hear is how she alleges this baby died.
Malice murder, felony murder, concealment of death of another, false report, making a false statement, making a false statement, making a false statement, like 10 of those, 20 of those actually.
Well,
19.
I ain't giving her no ideas. I'm sure her lawyer's going to be intelligent. Most lawyers are pretty intelligent, right? They pass the bar. They got to come up with something to defend her. You ain't going to walk in there and say she did it, because if you walk in there and say she did it, then she's definitely going to get the murder charges, right? So you could walk in there and say she was insane and she was under the influence of medications, because they are going to bring her medications into question.
Right, because she had just had that wisdom tooth pulled.
Yes. And side effects from medicine, and maybe that'll be their defense. Yeah, she did it, but she was under the influence of medication,
postpartum,
and try to go for leniency. I don't really truly think she's playing the leniency route. I think she's going to play I didn't do it route, because
how do you know?
Just from how she was acting down there and what she said to me about Danny beating on the baby. Right. To me, it makes
you asked her if Danny was beating on the baby, and she's like, So I mean, I don't.
Well, I mean, if you say it, why wouldn't she go with it as a defense? I mean, if we seen Adam in Harmony, I mean, Kayla Montgomery do it in the Harmony case. They did the exact same thing.
There were more close. There, it wasn't. I think it's different because with this case.
And we got to remember, they never found Harmony's body either.
Right.
They're still searching for it as we speak. Crystal Sorey, she's been out there putting, search parties together, still continuing to search for Harmony. And plus she's suing the state, because they failed that child. And I think another case, Quentin Simon, the state failed him. They took that baby from an unfit parent that was still living in the house with Billy Joe. It is so much like that.
It's not that simple. Didn't she move out and then they moved back after they had like an issue with their housing?
Or they used that as an excuse for Billy Joe to get custody, and then it was this. Okay, now you live here.
And now
again.
They're getting ready to give Billy Joe the custody of the mother kids.
Well, she's filing for custody of those kids. It's been 2 years, and they've been in foster care for those 2 years.
I think they're with a family friend also.
Yeah, well, that's we were talking about who does Billy Joe know in Chatham County. Okay,
something's definitely strange.
Now we know this, that the police, right? We got a baby killer over here, and we got some people screaming over here, and all the people screaming we're going to jail, but the baby killer won't. And not only that, but the police are the ones that hid them out in Tybee Island. Okay, the police paid for that hotel that night. And who did they know? And listen, I hate to be cruel and unusual. Billy Joe been arrested for prostitution. Okay.
It's true.
Was she sleeping with the chief? Was she sleeping with what police officers was she sleeping with? She's been around that area for a long time. And it seemed like the police were showing them favoritism in this whole situation. To me, that's what it appeared. Now, I ain't saying that's fact. I'm saying, in my opinion, the police were showing favoritism towards Leilani and Billy Joe.
I can see why it would seem that way, but I also can see how they were taking their time to make sure they had all their ducks in a row to go ahead and have a solid case against her.
I don't know. I think Billy Joe may have some friends.
I think that too.
Okay, because she wasn't broke, and we don't know who she hangs out with. Maybe some of these high up police officers, they ride motorcycles on the weekend.
I'm sure they do.
And they hang out and they kick it, and they were like, because they were literally having, this lady, they're in the landfill search for the baby. They're having cookouts, they're having parties, they're drinking, they're living their best life. And then the police was more worried about the noise than they were about this baby killer and they literally escorted them out the house with a police escort. Went to the house, told them to load up, sent them to Tybee Island, right? Paid for the hotel, allegedly, and led them there so nobody could follow them, right? So if you would have tried to follow them, they would have pulled you, stopped you, harassed you while they lead a baby killer away to safety. You know somebody, okay? Yeah. You know somebody, right? You know, so that, like I said, when they arrested me, the chief made a joke like his new address is and put out a jail's address, right?
I know.
And you didn't see them being jokey about Leilani Simon, right? But why attack me when I'm out there trying to be a voice for a child that's been murdered, and it seems like nobody cares, right? From the place, they're like, oh, well, we'll get to it when we get to it, right? Well, that ain't how shit works in the rest of the country, okay? It may be how it works there in Cheatham County, but in the rest of the country, that wouldn't have played out like that. It just would not have played out like that. I don't even think in Tennessee it would have played out like that.
I think there at the end it was getting out of hand, not necessarily with you, but them people that were coming there at night were really causing, like knocking on their windows and the baby cries at nighttime. And
yeah, but they were, you had to see it from both sides. They were playing into that. They're in there dancing in the windows. They're screaming shit from the fence. They got lights blinding the protesters like this is Waco, right? So they were playing in. They had disco balls out there.
I watched it. I know.
You know, and they were putting YouTube banners on the fences and shit. So they played right into that. Yes, it was a circus, but it took two sides to make it a circus. Without them coming outside and doing all the things they were doing, fighting with the media, fighting with people and the protesters, just stealing signs, knocking the signs down, trying to run people over. If they hadn't been doing all that, it would have been a different story. But I guess it depends which side you're looking at. You know, if you're looking over here, yeah, there was some bad on the protester side. There was a lot of bad going on from them. And if you're feeding into it and you're what's the word I'm looking for? Instigating. Okay. If you're instigating conflict,
it's gonna get worse.
You're gonna get conflict,
right?
You know, it's like Stowe was saying, like if you campaign for ass whipping long enough, you'll eventually get an ass whipping, right? So
if you ask to go to jail, you'll eventually get there.
Yes, yeah. Like what's that lady with the bullhorn? Right? She kept saying she wanted to go to jail. She wanted to go to jail. And next thing you know, her ass is in jail. And then all of a sudden she didn't want to be in jail. What happened to wanting to go to jail? Right?
I know, right?
So
you asked to go there. Careful what you ask for.
Yeah, careful in this world what you ask for, because you just may get it, right? Now, like I said, Leilani, she didn't care that she was going to jail. I think she knew she was going to jail. She just didn't care.
I don't remember. Did she cry in the video?
Hell no. Well, she fake cried for the news, like when she was like, I don't know where he's at.
Yeah,
and
that
shit,
was
right.
And then when she said she hoped that he was at somebody's house eating dinner and they were feeding him.
Well, yeah, she was lying and fake crying.
I know.
But far as when she got arrested,
Team Rose.
She was stone cold. She was a stone cold killer.
Yeah.
Right. She had the same look on her face when they were taking her through that Sally Port that she had when I was out there with her. Just not a care in the world. Right.
Then she got upset they took her crayons.
Well, yeah, now she's locked up and they took her color pencils, sober, and she's like, damn, all I had were these color pencils and my cornrows, right? And Jesus bread, okay? She's probably, tired of the Jesus bread, and they took her color pencils, and that was it, right? Like, but then she did get in there, get clean, get her GED, right?
Yeah, I don't really think that's really...
I mean, she did.
It kind of just makes me want to freaking punch the air. It's like you get to go to jail and just get your GED on.
What time she goes to prison, she'll be a doctor when she gets out. She'll have a college degree, right?
Good
like
for her.
It just, I agree when you get, especially when you in there for murder.
Yeah.
Or,
I mean, she hasn't been convicted.
Any violent crime. Yeah, and you're right. She's not been convicted yet. But once she is convicted, I don't think your life should be good when you're in prison for a violent crime. Now, if you in prison for, let's just say you was a drug dealer and you didn't hurt nobody or shoot anybody, or you may, should have some TV, maybe a Walkman, a job, and a jail. Let's try to rehabilitate you.
It's a different type of crime.
Yeah, nonviolent criminals. You know,
Right.
remember when they let all them nonviolent prisoners out?
COVID.
That and the president that at the time was Obama when it let all the nonviolent offenders out. I don't agree with letting them out, but I agree with they shouldn't have such a rough time in prison. And I don't believe violent offenders should be locked up with non-violent offenders.
No, because what if they get violent on the non?
They
like,
do
it's not
all the
fair.
time.
It's not,
That's how prisons work. It's violent people attacking non-violent people,
it shouldn't
robbing
be like
people,
that.
sexually assaulting people, selling drugs to people in prison. That's how it is. And I don't believe I believe myself that if you want to reform good, people that are somewhat bad, you need to keep them away from bad people. You need to have them around better influences and things like that. Not, violent criminals sleeping right next to somebody ain't never hurt nobody.
That's scary.
It is scary, right? I've been locked up in jail for destruction of property. Okay. And the dude sleeping next to me was a murderer. Now, I ain't never hurt a person in my life, but I got to sleep with one eye open watching this killer that weighs like 380 pounds, looks like a damn Andre the Giant, right? Could easily just beat you to death, right? And there'd really be nothing you could do about it. That is where the system is a little flawed, right? But until she's convicted, I guess you're right. She deserves, a little bit of TV, whatever, maybe some colored pencils. But once that judge drops that gavel, your ass don't deserve any of that. You don't deserve to go to college. You don't deserve to be up in there working, cable TV, none of those things. And if she's whining already, you know what I'm saying? Listen,
said you break shit. No, I'm pretty sure it was when you wrote on the stall with the marker.
No,
you didn't
no,
break nothing. This was a different one.
No. This was destruction of property.
That's funny.
But you got to convict her, right? And you got to prove what you're saying, right? You got to prove that she beat this baby to death with an object, right? So if there's
that's so specific, I can't imagine that they don't have some type of evidence. Why they could say, she took him out just in general, like she beat his butt. I don't know how to say it properly. I feel triggered just saying it because it's so disturbing. That little boy was so freaking cute.
I know.
And he looked just like her, which makes me think she really has some internal hatred of herself or something. I mean, you could tell that she's kind of dead in the inside, like just the way she kind of just looks. But I'm not a psychiatrist. But it's like there's got to be something.
Oh, there's something wrong with her for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was, I ain't no psychiatrist, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express a few times, right? Something emotionally is going on with her. Now, I don't know if it was because, when I was there, she was coming off of drugs so bad, because even she told me she was coming off of drugs, right? If it was that in which made her so emotionless, right? Or she's like that all the time.
I would imagine that if you're coming off of being on drugs all the time, I feel like that would have a opposite.
And
you would be more emotional trying to get
my
it together.
question is this: what type of abuse happened to her as a child?
Same as freaking probably that baby, because I mean that lady has 2 kids that are in jail for murder. I mean she's got to be the one that was abusive to her kids to begin with. That's a learned behavior.
Yeah, and you got to remember, so them kids grew up with a mother that was out hooking. She was doing drugs, and usually when people are doing those types of things, abusing your kids usually ain't too far behind it, okay? And we got to remember that she had just evicted Leilani, right?
She was real mad, probably.
And they were fighting over doing laundry, which, let's just think about it like this. If Billy Joe hadn't evicted Leilani, would Leilani had done what she did? Did that help her mental? And out of all this, if they were going to fight and kick her out over the laundry, Billy Joe stood right beside her in the disappearance of her child. Right? It seemed like she didn't want to in the beginning because, listen, if it wasn't for Billy Joe, I wouldn't even have been down there. The first news report, Billy Joe said, I love my daughter, but I can't always trust her. And then right then, I knew something was wrong. I was like,
Her man was the one that was saying more stuff that was kind of like he made it sound like she damn did it in their interview together when it was Billy Joe and her man. I don't remember his name, but it's like he was the one.
I don't remember his name either. He never came outside but a couple times, and that was
I think
at the
he
very
was the one
end.
that said that she wasn't trustworthy and that she was.
No, that was Billy Joe that said she wasn't trustworthy. She said, "I love my daughter to death, but sometimes I can't trust her." And
I'm gonna find that interview.
I remember that's when I was like, book the ticket, the time to get the ticket, the time to go to Georgia. I knew right then that that baby was no longer with us, that the mother had did it. Because listen, my mom would have never said nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? And you don't hear mothers like that. But then, she did in the beginning tell it. I thought Billy Joe told it. I thought Billy Joe would be legit. And I truly believe that Billy Joe was upset about it, because I did see Billy Joe crying over it. I did see her want to punch me in the face over it when I said it was her fault. So, I mean, Billy Joe did have emotion. Leilani, lack of emotion. But Billy Joe also knows that it's just as much her fault, like I told her. That's why she got mad at me, as it is Leilani's. Hey, if you hadn't have did this, if you hadn't have got custody of these kids so she could keep them anyway, Quentin Simon would be alive. And that set something off.
Stinks. The truth
And
hurts.
when they stole the signs, right, them signs that I put out there, we ended up getting the signs back, right? But the one sign that they got rid of and we didn't get back was the signs that said, see something, say something. For some reason, they didn't want those signs out there. They were good with the Justice for Quentin signs and all the other signs, right? Honk for Quentin, right? But they burnt them damn. They threw them in the fire barrel or something. The signs that said, see something, say something. So why would you get rid of those signs out of all the signs, right? Because they all watched them babies be abused by her and nobody did nothing, right? Listen, you had the brother in there, Paul, the younger one, right? You had the old man in there. All these people seen that child being abused and they didn't say nothing. So, what cut these people were the truth. They don't like the truth. Okay. If you would have said anything else, they don't give a damn about it. But when you tell the truth, they don't like that. Anything
Truth hurts.
Truth stings like the big B word, right? So they didn't like that whatsoever. And now I got to see them again. I'm leaving tomorrow to head down to Georgia. There's going to be a storm hitting Florida, so I'm going to be caught up in the storm a little bit. So hopefully it don't veer off and hit Georgia too bad, because I'm going to be heading that way. We've been taking care of a lot of the packing and getting all my stuff together today. So once again, it's going to be face to face with Billy Joe, and hopefully she don't hold no grudges, or try to kill me. But she didn't when I was there, but it's going to be like a bad dream for them to see this face once again, right? Once again, because, when I start to cover a case, I don't give up on the case. I'm there to the end. Long as it takes, Dolly's going to be there. And I'm praying to God. And, it does sound like I'm defending her because I'm playing devil's advocate. But truthfully, I want to see this lady go to prison for the next 150 years. I just have a bad feeling that that's not going to happen. Now, if I was the judge, I would bury her under the penitentiary where she didn't see a light, a speck of light shining through. She'd never hear a bird chirp. She would never see outside. It wouldn't be none of that go to the yard. You fuck your colored pencils. It'd be that, right? That to me, there's really no such thing as justice when you take a life unless you get the death penalty. And matter of fact, you need to get that swiftly, right? Like Muhammad, the DC sniper, he got the death penalty. Within 3 years, he was executed. I think 3 to 6 years he was executed. But everybody else seems to sit on death row for 20, 30 years, right? Is that justice? Right? Is that justice? That ain't justice. They're eating, living. Their family can see them. They can make phone calls. That ain't justice. That is not justice to me. And I truly believe whatever happens in this, and I'm going to be dead honest with you, justice ain't going to be served. If they give her 20 years, she's 22 years old. She will get out of prison one day. 44, she'll be out, right? So I don't see this lady with them having no evidence, which there may be, right? Usually you're right a lot of the times, but I think it's a little bit of a stretch. I think it's a little bit of a stretch to say this woman beat this baby to death, and what you have for evidence is pieces of bones. Pieces of bones. Not even the whole skeleton. You got pieces of bones that have been ran over. So they can argue, hey, these marks on the bones, these broken bones you're seeing are from excavators, trash compactors, all these things. And if you had solid evidence of in the house, like people saying, well, there was evidence in the house. Well, they didn't pull none from it.
How do you know?
Because we were out there. Okay. They weren't even showing up, right? They weren't even showing up. So, I mean, they didn't have anything. If they would have had something to arrest her for, they would have arrested her.
I don't think so. I think they were literally just waiting to find the remains.
But no, because in the beginning, they treated it like it was a runaway, like a kidnapping. You got to remember they reported
that. They did that with freaking Sebastian's case too.
Did they find anything in the house in Sebastian's?
I mean,
how hard do they look when they think the kid is
of.
a runaway? They were too busy searching the woods and the rivers and all these things.
And then they found out what happened. Like, how do you think they knew to go straight to the dumpster?
Once they found out the baby was in a dumpster, they never went back and searched the house.
Why did they do the same exact thing?
Look, you know how I know they didn't go back and search the house?
You were there for it, but
because I was there for it. So if they treated it like it was somebody kidnapped this kid and they didn't thoroughly search for evidence and blood and all that.
I thought they did the luminol after that. I thought I remembered that on.
I don't remember hearing them ever do any luminol. I don't never remember hearing anything about them pulling any blood out the house, anything that they might have thought he beat the baby. Now, once the baby was found, they came up with, did she beat the baby to death? So
I don't know. I feel like I remember there being a luminol test when they did the testing on the pool and stuff.
Not that I know. Not that I know of. There may be something I missed in all this, but like I said, once the baby in the beginning, they considered it, they thought the baby got kidnapped. When they said that, I was already on a plane down there, sitting in front of the house in a chair every day, just staring at the house. I didn't see them go in there and come out with bags of shit or anything. And if they had so much evidence, why would they have wanted Leilani's notebooks to see what she was writing? And if they were searching the house and doing all this searching, why didn't they find the notebooks to begin with?
I mean,
you see what I'm saying?
First off, they're not going to tell you what they have. If they came in and had whatever as for evidence or the weapon that was used or whatnot, they wouldn't tell the public that they had that.
I mean, they possibly could have something, right? I'm just saying what I observed. I don't know exactly what they could have. I'm just telling everybody what I seen. Like, I didn't see this like going on. Like, like they would, if they were going up to Leilani's house, they were knocking on the door. They wasn't like just busting up in the door with warrants and things. Like, they were knocking. They'd walk around to the back and ask to talk to her. And that's why I'm saying, who the hell does Billy Joe know? Right? Because I thought they were getting like the police treatment was like, they wouldn't have treated me like that.
Thank you, Hunters. She just sent that interview that I wanted to play. I'm sending it to your.
Where you send it to?
To Messenger. It's the interview with Billy Joe with her man.
Okay.
And hold on, sorry.
You didn't send it to me.
I know. I backed up.
So hold on one second. We'll pull this very original interview.
It starts in about a minute in, but it's not a very long.
All right, let me pull it over here. All right, hold on 1 second. Let me share the screen with you guys.
Thank you, Huntress.
Thank you, Huntress.
Look at that little face. How could you hurt him?
I know. I couldn't believe it. He is such a cute kid. I'd have took him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Dolly ain't got a son. He would have been Dolly Jr. All right. Let's do it.
Hours after he was reportedly last seen by his mother. Our Andy Cole joins us live now from Buckhalter Road in Savannah. Andy, you've been on this story all.
This dude right here, this news guy, he is such a bitch ass dude. I had to say it. Just like, he is such a fake ass dude.
Day, tell us what's the latest.
Hey, good evening, Greg and Shannon. Investigators were out today searching for 20-month-old Quentin Simon, but still they have not been able to find him. Earlier today, I did get a chance to check in with his grandparents, who, as you can imagine, are desperate.
Okay, here's the point I want to make. Look, okay, right now they're searching for him because they said he's gone, right? Do you see a big police presence at the house?
No.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm thinking in the beginning they didn't find nothing. And
Well,
then,
if
of course,
they're searching for him, they have already at this point, I would assume,
okay,
figured he's not in the house, so there wouldn't be a
right.
presence at
I
the
agree.
house.
I agree. Right. But shortly after this, I was there and I didn't see them going in there and searching every inch of the house, doing luminol tests. I just didn't see it. I ain't saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying I didn't see it happening. And I was sitting right where he was standing right now. That's actually where I was sitting, right there where he's standing at. That's where my chair was at. So I'm just saying I didn't see those things going on. So for now, for them to come out with like some evidence that.
Exactly. Someone said if they didn't have evidence of him being beaten to death by an object, it would simply say homicidal violence. It's so specific that there's got to be a rhyme or reason to it.
I understand that. I'm understanding. I get that. I get what you guys are saying. I get what you're saying is what I'm trying to explain is I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Okay?
No, I get it.
Desperate for answers.
Do you believe Quentin is still be alive?
I hope he's still alive. We don't know. We don't have any information to believe he's not.
Okay, right. They didn't have at that point. They had you heard of him say it. We got no information that he's not.
If they did, would they really say that they had it? I'm at a point where I don't believe.
I think they would have because then they came out and named her. She is our only suspect. She's the number one suspect in the.
I think that's as they were getting the story of what happened. But it would spook me as somebody that would have been the prime suspect for them to instantly say, oh, he's no longer with us. And, oh, this is the suspect. I think they gradually started to say it as they connected the pieces.
Once everybody in Cheatham County knew that the baby was in the dumpster. Once that shit leaked, then they changed the whole tune. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everything changed from that point. Like, and here's the thing is the locals knew what was going on before the police knew what was going on.
Yeah, see, Mima said they did because they covered all the windows with black trash, but I swear I was watching. You were live while it was happening, I think.
I don't remember.
I remember it like so vividly because I remember as soon as I read that.
I remember Leilani and them covered the windows. They put signs and all kinds of shit in the windows.
Well, no, they thought they were being wiretapped, so they sat outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was before that.
Chatham County Police Chief Jeff Hadley is optimistic 20-month-old Quentin Simon is still alive. But as the hours tick by, hope is waning. Quentin's grandparents, Thomas and Billy Joe, say their daughter, Leilani, Quentin's mom, is just 22. And according to court records, Billy is Quentin's custodian.
She hasn't always done the right things. And sometimes she does really great, and sometimes she doesn't. And I don't know what to think right now. I don't know what to believe because I don't think anybody ever believes that this is going to happen to them. I don't know if I can trust her or if I don't.
Hey, it was her. I don't know if I can trust her. That's what sold me in the very beginning. This interview right here. This is the one that got me on the airplane.
Sometimes she does really good and sometimes she doesn't. And
she don't know if she can trust her.
She doesn't know if she can trust her, yeah.
Yeah, and then when I heard that, I knew right then. And you listen, yeah, she was, damn it, tweakers. Billy Joe was blown out of her mind. But would this is enough to, especially if you was a previous drug addict, and then your world just goes crazy. A lot of times when people can't cope,
you're pretty much going right back to
drugs. Yeah, and I think that's what happened. Is she couldn't deal with what was going on. And then she started getting high.
She had guilt. I mean, anybody in their right mind can see she did love this baby. She did love her kids, but she knows that had she not left him with the lady he got taken from.
I will say this for Billy Joe. I think in the beginning, she was really trying to do the right thing. Somewhere down that path, she kind of veered off and then decided, my daughter's gone. I better defend my daughter. And then I think it became a little bit more of defending Leilani, you know. But I can say this, Billy Joe did show way more emotion all over the board than Leilani did at all. At all.
I just know I'm hurt, and I want this baby home.
We want
He's
answers,
my
and
baby.
we don't have answers.
Quentin's grandparents tell me more than anything, they want answers.
Whether it's the answers we want to hear or answers we don't want to hear, we just want to know something.
He's just a baby.
Home where they all apparently lived last month. We've also learned that Leilani had a child support order filed against her just last week for both Quentin and his 3-year-old sibling. Shannon and Greg.
And we know who filed that. Billy Joe did.
Mm-hmm.
So not only was she trying to evict her, but she was trying to get child support from her. They were fighting over the laundry, right? And
I'm sure they were fighting over everything.
Yeah,
that
probably
was just
pretty
the
much.
one instance where the cops were called, I thought, was over that laundry.
Yeah. But was it things leading up to like cause this or help cause this? You know what I'm saying? Or would this have happened if they would have been getting along great?
I think it would have happened. What I understood is that Billy and her man were raising house and they had these grown adults doing drugs, messing up at life, and she has 3 kids now at 22. I mean,
at 22,
she was trying to
3
make her
kids.
grow up and trying to help her own her responsibilities at 22 with 3 kids. You know, you got to get a job, you got to pay bills, you got to, and I mean, she at that point was not doing
I'm not trying to blame Billy Joe, right? Because I don't have to blame her. I already know if she hadn't
blames
did
herself, she has
she has to, right? Because she knows what I said to her was truthful.
Mm-hmm.
If you hadn't have got this baby just so they wouldn't have took the baby, she didn't plan on taking that baby from Leilani. She just did that so they wouldn't take the baby from Leilani. So she was defending Leilani, and she knows that. I have nothing personal against Billy Joe, right? But she should have that guilt. She should feel that guilt. I don't feel bad that she feels guilt because that guilt is real. You should feel bad for what you did, right? I ain't saying you caused it. You know, I ain't saying you technically caused it.
Technically, she could have if she was, you know, beating her own children and passed down that violent tendency. I mean,
or mental health issues, you know, could be genetic, you know, some of her.
Yeah, Donna Clark said BJ was not lawfully allowed to leave that child with Leilani, period. I agree.
Yeah, and she was doing.
She never suffered any kind of consequence for that. I mean, so mentally she's in her own head over it, I'm sure. And I mean, that's going to be her burden to bear.
I mean, she should have to deal with it. She's going to deal with that probably for the rest of her life. That bad decision she made that, you know, money was more important than her family. Because that's what she left for, is that job.
Well, I mean, she had to provide for that said family, though. So, like, how do you?
But for, you know, what I mean, she was doing fine. She has a big ass house. She has a big ass. See how big their yard is. They got fifth wheelers, motorcycles.
Yeah, but that could be
that dude is a welder, right? So
they're not married though, so it's not like what's half of mine is half of yours. You don't know if that's his stuff or he paid for that or he upkeeps that. And she was responsible for her own. Her sons were there. Her daughter's there. Her daughter's boyfriend's there. How many people were actually in that house?
Yeah, but her son is next to go to prison. You ever met that dude? He's going to prison. If I was a betting man, I bet you that boy ends up in prison.
What, the third one? There's already one that's in prison.
Yeah, there's one. I'm talking about the one that ain't in prison. The only one that won't go to prison is Michael because he don't live with him. He ain't around them. He's not around that shit, right? And even Michael, when I was talking, he broke down into tears, right? So I mean, the ones that are around them act different. The only one that don't act like a savage is Michael. The other youngest one, he's next in line. He's right behind Leilani. I ain't saying that he's going to murder somebody, right? But I'm saying he going to end his ass up in prison. If I was a betting man, I would go, okay, I'll put 20 on him.
And I mean, if all your kids are like that, that's got to be something to do with your parenting and your upbringing. There's no way all your kids turned out to be like that and you didn't have a part in it.
Definitely. Okay, so Leilani got to court. Her jury's being selected the 9th. Okay, so that's Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So we will be there for that, covering it live from outside the courthouse, right? That I believe Law and Crime is going to broadcast.
They said they were going to broadcast, but they didn't specify whether it was going to be live broadcast or how that was going to work, because it was said that they couldn't live broadcast it.
Yeah, but either way, if it's not live broadcasted, every time there is a break, I will step outside. I'm going to take notes. Okay, Dolly's going to take a pen and paper with me. I will write down everything that's said that's important. I will step out during every break, lunch break, the 15-minute breaks, and I will come with you guys live, let you guys know what's going on in the courtroom. So Wednesday they pick her jury. I'm thinking it ain't going to take that long to pick her jury. By Monday, we know the trial will begin. Okay, we do have some pretty bad weather that is coming that way, but it looks like right now Milton will go through Florida as a Category 2 hurricane, and it goes right back out into the ocean. So it will just breeze past Savannah. You know, Savannah probably get some of the rain and winds from it, but probably not hurricane conditions. Okay, so hopefully everything goes good for me. I was actually going to go stay at a campground down there that day, but we reversed that, and I'm probably going to take my ass to a concrete hotel room just in case the storms do get bad while I am there. But we're going to open the phone lines. I want to hear from you guys. Do you think they have evidence against Leilani Simon enough to convict her of killing Quentin Simon? Now, I know they got enough evidence to say she threw him away.
See, I'm in Florida. They're predicting Category 4.
Okay.
And that's scary.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty scary.
Do you have evidence? Do they have evidence?
Do they have evidence to convict her of the murder? Okay, I know they have evidence to convict her for lying. What's the other one? Disposing of a body. All that stuff. I know that's pretty slam dunk. We ain't even got to think about that because we know they got that. But what we don't know is if they took anything out of this house or if they didn't take anything out of this house. That is the question. Do they have enough to convict her of the murders? And yes, of course, they got plenty to convict her on all the other charges. But the murder charge, that's what I want to know from you guys. I'm going to open up the phone lines. Let's try to keep it on topic tonight, and then we're going to move right into in just about 15 minutes, we'll move into Jenn Soto stuff. Dolly, PJ.
Hey, Dolly, it's Carol from Tennessee.
Hey, Carol.
I'm calling, and I'm thinking they have something on her, or they would have offered her a plea deal.
How do we know they haven't offered her some kind of plea deal?
Well, normally they advertise that, and that she denied it. And
yeah, but normally they advertise a lot of different stuff that we aren't hearing in this case. Like usually by now we would have been told how long they're expecting the case to last.
Yeah, because there's no real big mainstream media covering it now, like there was when it happened. You had everybody down there when it first happened, but now they kind of faded away from it, like it's not that big of a deal anymore. So yeah, we don't know how long the trial is going to last, and usually they'll let you know. Like even the Karen Reed stuff, they said it was going to last 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So
they gave you an exact time.
Yeah,
and then every time there was something to update, it's like I felt like I had to go and search for it here with this case. They're not very open with all the updates like every other case, I feel like.
Yeah. So what do you think they took out the house?
I think Danny produced something for him.
Maybe so. I mean,
I think so.
And
too.
you know, he was so super quiet that whatever comes out, it's going to be a surprise.
Yeah, I think he produced all the evidence that they need to put her away.
I do too.
You think they gave him immunity though? Because you got to know that Danny knew what was happening.
Oh yeah.
You know, and not only knew, but I think he actually assisted.
Well, I think that whatever he gave them was worth immunity to them.
Maybe so. Maybe so. Because I was thinking they had nothing. And, you know, I don't know what Danny told them, but maybe he did tell them, hey, I seen her beat him in the head with something, and he's going to testify to that.
And maybe he produced whatever she beat him in the head with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like I said, did anybody ever see them take anything out that house? I didn't ever see them leaving with bags and stuff or anything. So I ain't saying it couldn't have happened. I'm just saying I didn't see none of that. And
But you didn't see what Danny took out of the house either.
Yeah, but would you take them if there was a baby beat to death? Would you take the weapon with you?
If you're thinking that it's going to be either you or her, and you had to freaking make sure that it wasn't you, and you knew what happened, hell,
We do know Danny did in the beginning talk with the police. He went down to the police station and talked to the police, and then right shortly after that, he fled. He left. His
mama came and got him.
No,
and
he
then
drove.
He was silent. No, his mama came and got him.
No, he had the car. He had that little Honda.
Okay.
So
I don't know.
Or was that Leilani's car? I can't remember. It's been 2 years. All right. Well, look, hey, we appreciate you calling.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All
Bye.
right, peace. I remember they impounded the car, but I can't remember, was it his car or her car? Anybody know? Anybody know? I can't remember. Dolly.
Dolly, it's Richard. What's up, man?
What's up, Richard?
Oh, tired. Wow.
I hear you.
We just got back like 30 minutes ago.
What, from Florida?
Yeah, we went down there to that little Pinesville or whatever area. It was pretty bad, dude. It stinks so bad.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. It was like, it's kind of like right where JLR was yesterday.
I haven't seen JR. I've been so busy.
You know, like all the food, like the restaurants and stuff, they have to throw everything out. It just smells so bad. Like
like rotten stuff.
Yeah, meat. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard.
We did help 38 families. We were able to help 38 families total. We gave them each $100 in envelopes, and then we gave them whatever we had. And then most of them didn't really want. They couldn't even do anything in their homes yet. So we're going to go back in 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
We did help a lot of people. It was pretty fun. But anyway, I think the FBI is the one that gathered the majority of the evidence in that case. I was reading it on the way back because I didn't have to drive on the way back. So I was reading about the case because I didn't really know a lot about it.
Uh-huh.
And if you go back and read what they said, there's nobody else is being charged at that time of whenever, I guess, after the boyfriend or whatever spoke. Because evidently he spoke to the FBI once and the police department once.
I know he spoke with the police.
And the FBI too.
I didn't know he spoke with the FBI. I knew he spoke with the police, and then 4 days after the crime, he left.
He spoke to the police, and then it's like 16 hours. I think it said 16 hours. The next day at like 9 a.m., he spoke to the 2 FBI agents.
Okay.
So I don't know, but FBI seems to think they have enough to put her away forever.
I like to know what they got because they ain't gave no clue to anything.
I think they got the murder weapon down.
Other than saying she did it.
They said she did it from, it's so funny if you read those statements that are out there from the FBI, and then that guy that was crying, that sheriff guy with the glasses.
Uh-huh.
He gave a speech, and remember he teared up or whatever. I watched that little clip yesterday, and
I think he was crying because I got out of jail. I think that's what teared him up because he was.
I think they found whatever the murder weapon was, and that's why they were so like brokenhearted. But it'll come out in trial, I'm sure. But
he was like, Dolly got out. They didn't even keep him. You know what I'm saying? I thought they were keeping him with no bond, and he got right out and teared him right on
they
out.
Lock her up forever. That little boy is so cute.
Yeah, I mean, I do too.
I didn't know who he was until yesterday. I didn't even see a picture of him until yesterday. It was so cute.
Yeah, I mean, I hope she goes to prison forever too. But you know, I'm just trying to think of what
3 hours. It was only 3 hours. This is all transpired because Danny saw him at 6 a.m. and then she reported him missing 3 hours later.
No, Danny, that's lies. Danny called.
Oh no, that's what it said in that statement that
Danny called the babysitter and told the babysitter that she wasn't going to be needed. Okay.
Oh, so
he texted. He texted.
Texted. Okay.
It wasn't a phone call. That was voice.
Okay. So then 3 hours later, the babysitter walks down to the house because the babysitter lives 3 houses down. Okay, on the other side of the street.
Okay.
And then Leilani was out front looking for him, And she asked Leilani, what are you doing? She's like, the baby's gone. I'm looking for him. And she's like, have you called the police yet? And Leilani was like, no. Okay. So the baby was missing early that morning. She got up early that morning, took the car and drove to the dumpster and threw the baby in it, then came home. So
oh no.
When she was out there with the babysitter, she already knew where the baby was at. She had done threw the baby in the dumpster and it was caught on video. So they were all there. Danny was out there with her, you know what I'm saying? And then he had to have known, you know what I'm saying? He had to have known.
He had to have known, yeah.
Right? So he's part of this. If they gave him immunity, good for him. But he's no better than her.
Well, hopefully they didn't give him immunity if that's the damn case. Hopefully
I mean,
he goes to jail too.
And then the babysitter said, you know, well, maybe you should call the police. And that's when she called the police. The babysitter got her to call the police.
So you think it happened at night? Is that what you're thinking? Like late
That's
at
what
night?
they think.
Yeah, it happened that night, and she disposed of the baby that morning.
Oh, poor baby.
Yeah, and then, you know.
I hope she goes for life.
Because here's the thing is, when she went to dispose of the baby, who was watching the other kids?
Danny.
She
Danny.
didn't seem to care.
That's
or
right.
It was her brother.
That is
or
right.
Her stepdad.
Or her
They
brother.
were all there.
Or Paul.
Yeah.
But somebody
know.
Somebody knew. Why didn't they
They all
notice?
know.
Why didn't they notice? Well, we're watching two kids. Where's the third one?
That's what I'm saying. You just said that. It just clicked in my head. They all know.
They all knew. I know they did.
Probably told her to go do it.
They can act like they didn't know shit all day long. I don't believe that shit.
Yeah, you're right. I think you just clicked in my. I think they all know, and they're the ones that told her to take it to the dumpster. Oh wow.
Right. So to me, you know, if you're watching it and you're taking part in it, you're just as fucking guilty.
Yeah, you're guilty. And it's just like that Jenn Soto thing. It was brought to my attention earlier today that she lied to the detective straight out to his face about. She told him she didn't have Stephan's new phone number, but yet she texted him right when they showed her the pictures.
And the worst thing is,
She texted dad to tell him to get Stephan a lawyer.
Stern too.
Yeah.
To lawyer up. That's what Plunder said.
Yeah, she texted Stephan Stern's dad, told him after they told him he
Like
had been
4
molesting.
minutes, showed the pictures.
After showing her the pictures of Stephan Stern's molesting her daughter, she calls
Like
the
4
dad
minutes later
and tells him to get Stephan a lawyer. You know, that's why I truly
Then she texted Stern while he was sitting in the room next to her, and he picked up the phone and said, yeah, that's Jenn texting me. She texted him only 2 words, lawyer up.
Oh,
right.
Yeah,
and here's
what Plunder just put out. She just got it yesterday, evidently.
You might need to watch
So,
that. Wow.
Like, what I'm saying is, I've always said the woman is still in love with Stephan Stern. She still never denounced him, right? She's never came out one time and said, hey, F this guy. He's a monster. I hope he rots in hell.
Exactly.
Right? Because she's still in love with him. Look at even Kayla Montgomery and Adam Montgomery. That she said all she wanted was to testify against him was one more night with him. You know what I'm saying? Like she was in court on this murdered baby, and she's still in love with the man.
Oh my God! Yeah, you need to pull up that Plunder when you go talk about Jenn Soto. She just broke it yesterday. I was watching on the drive, and she said that look at this. We finally got the proof that Jenn texted Stephan while he was sitting in the room, and he does pick up the phone and say it was Jenn to the lady, the officer that was there with him.
Yeah.
And there was 2 minutes.
I've seen pieces of it. I've seen pieces of it from Plunder.
Yeah, she said she's busted. She's by-faced lied to that detective. She didn't have the phone number, and yet she texted him.
Yeah, I mean, always she's been lying. I believe she should be. I believe she should be in prison next to him, and just like I thought, Danny and Leilani should be in prison. I'm like,
and her brother, if he was there with the kids too.
Well, what if the brother wasn't up? You know what I'm saying?
And he knew that the little one wasn't there if he was watching them.
Well, maybe
Danny
Danny
really watched their kids like that.
Maybe Danny was the one watching them while she went and did what she did.
Or maybe she told them he's already missing and they really didn't know.
Because Danny wasn't at the dumpster with her. They have it on video.
Okay, well, then if they were at the house watching the other kid and that both kids weren't there, then they should automatically know that something's wrong.
Yeah, because, I mean, in the very beginning, it was a rumor. Somebody came to me and said, Jimmy, she has a friend that lives in that trailer park. That's what led me to the trailer park. Then it came out that, hey, there's a video of her at the dumpster, and then everybody just knew well, they kind of assumed that she threw the baby away.
Yeah,
Right?
well, I told everybody that I met down there to sub up to your channel because I was going to be talking about where we were going next, and then people could need help. So I told everybody that we talked to sub up to your channel.
Yeah, well,
So
I appreciate it. I appreciate it, my man. Well, you be good.
Yeah, no problem, brother. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I guess I'll be able to watch it now if I don't fall asleep. But be careful.
All right,
tomorrow.
peace.
All right, peace.
All right, we got Georgia calling in. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly.
Hey.
This is Angie from Savannah, Night Crew.
Night Crew. What's up, Angie?
Hey, fine. I was just going to tell PJ that they did put black trash bags on the front window where he was supposedly killed.
Oh, wow.
I thought her room was the upstairs window to the right there at the very corner was her bedroom.
They weren't in her bedroom. They were in the living room, I heard.
Yeah, it's in the bottom, right whenever you walk in the door. And I think it's like to the right or something like that.
Oh,
remember, Paul was supposed to be upstairs, remember? And they were downstairs.
I could have swore she was upstairs in that right window, right? Like right here.
Yeah, where they always put the light.
Yeah, where they had the light.
That might be her room. That might be where you would have seen her, but that's not where she was that night.
Where was she twerking in the window at? Which window?
Probably that window.
That's the kitchen. No, that's the kitchen. If you go to the front of the house and you look directly ahead of you, it was blinds that like flipped up and down, and she opened them and everybody was going crazy like, they're in that room, they're in that room. So I guess it was the music that was on. So she started twerking in the window.
So you're saying they did cover one of these windows with plastic bags? I must have not noticed it.
Yeah, like I said, it's the bottom one right as you walk in the front door. It's like to your right. They had a black bag on there one day. But see and yes, Billy Joe and the grandfather are married legally. And that house, well, I just, I live right here on Gerard. I live right down from where, like 10 houses down from the babysitter, and then there's the house. But but no, they had the black things. See, they drained the pool and they found a sock.
I remember they drained the pool. Yeah, I remember they were draining the pool.
And
that was around the same
and
time.
They went in the back there, and she got upset because once the fire department removed all the water, it messed up her suction thing. So she wanted them to replace it.
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that too. So now they found a sock. They found a sock in the pool. So what makes you think she ain't going to say that baby drowned in the pool?
Because first of all, I was around there like hour after after they had let us know. I got in the car. Billy Joe and Grandpa was already there. Well, where she was welding was out of Savannah. She was already there that morning. Like, I'm looking at the footage thing. So Leilani probably told her at around an earlier time.
Before she called the police.
Because she was like, her and that man was right there. I mean, like, right after the news come on. And we rode by, and then some other woman had the little baby.
Yeah, because I remember the babysitter told me that she went over there and they were out front looking for the kid and hadn't called the police yet. And she was like, maybe you should call the police. And then they called the police. Like, if they hadn't, they probably wouldn't even have called the police then if the babysitter hadn't have said, hey, call the police.
Yeah, see, I'm friends with the babysitter, just off whatever. But,
Did she ever
was
move?
Like,
I know she was talking about.
She's still
there?
She's still down there on the corner.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So, and like I said, she stays pretty quiet now.
Well, I'm
but
sure
she's going to probably be there.
Yeah, I'm sure she's going to be testifying against Leilani in that.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure. But I heard that in one of the court things, the very first started in Chatham, Billy Joe was there in the front, right out behind Leilani or whatever. And whenever they started talking about the baby and all that kind of stuff, she got up and left. Now, see, I think she should have sit there and went through all of the things about her grandson's this and grandson's that. And that Leilani and Billy, they ain't nothing but fake tears.
Yeah,
It wasn't even tears.
I know that.
I mean, come on. And then she's just like, oh, well, Leilani said he's in a dump. Okay. She dumped the baby's body. So why didn't somebody check on it then? It's crazy, you know?
Yeah.
They didn't put an Amber Alert out for this baby. All they did was come on TV, breaking news. You know, there's a child missing, but no warnings, no nothing. They were in my yard.
I think that's exactly why I think they knew from day one that that baby wasn't missing.
Yeah, my thing is this: is if they did find evidence in that house, say at the time they were draining the pool, and the time you said you seen the black bag on the window, why didn't they arrest her then?
They need that body, I'm telling you.
So.
Yep. And Billy Joe knew because Billy Joe said, "Oh, my baby's in a landfill." She told him it was in the landfill.
She did. I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, she said, "Oh, my baby's
Is
in the landfill."
Is that before or after they knew the baby was in the dumpster?
I think it was. I don't know, PJ. Was it?
I think it was.
I can't remember.
The way that she said it is like she knew. I think they were looking for the baby in the landfill, but it's like you wouldn't say that if there's a suspicion that the baby's in the landfill. You would be like,
well, they knew the baby was in. They knew the baby was in the landfill.
So then she knew too, because she was sitting there saying it like it was a factual piece of the way she said it was like, "Oh, my baby's in a landfill," meaning like he's literally in the landfill, not "Oh, he might be there." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. They dumped his body in this Azalea trailer park down here.
Yeah.
And the trash cans right as you go in.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
They have cameras up there, so I want to know where the footage was with somebody trying to, throw somebody or something away at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning.
Well, I thought it was earlier in the morning than that.
I don't know.
That she threw it away. Not like later in the morning.
Right.
Around 6-ish in the morning, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. And, she had a friend that lived right. Because, when you go into that gas station right there where the trailer park is, you kind of got to go around it because it's all one way. And it leads you down to one way.
It is.
And then it brings you back up the other side so you can get to the dumpsters. Yeah. Her friend lived about 6 trailers down. The girl she hangs out with lived right there. Didn't
they say that she sat there until the trash was picked up?
Yes.
So what time does that usually happen? It doesn't happen at 3 a.m.
No, that's why I'm saying it happened early in the morning. And them
dumpsters go in there. Yeah.
So,
but anyways, I know people are trying to call in. I don't want to take nobody's time, but I'll see you probably at the courthouse.
All right. See you later. You be good.
All right, Dolly. All right, PJ. Peace.
Bye.
Peace. Yeah, so she sat there and watched the trash was picked up. Then
that's kind of calculated. How would you know that was gonna I wouldn't know.
Because she hung out in that trailer park all the time because her best friend, the girl that was with her in the truck that day, is the girl that lives in that trailer. Dolly, PJ, you gotta turn us down in the background.
I already turned you down in the damn background.
All right, ma'am.
Hey, PJ, what up? How's it going? The more I think about it, I think Danny gave a complete statement to the police, told them everything, and then he split for his own safety because those people are a rough crowd. I think he split for his own safety after he spilled the beans on all of them, and then got immunity probably for that.
You may be right on that.
I've been saying that, but I mean, I don't think it was just for his safety. I think he's a snitch, and then he left. I mean,
a snitch drug addict.
He didn't have no fault to this. He watched it freaking as it happened. I'm sorry. If I sat around and you hit one of, if I had a kid that was that little and you, there's no way in hell, and for them to just be together, it's no big deal.
And they were together for a good while too.
Throwing the baby around, nah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, he must have knew something good for them not to charge him with anything. Or they probably told him, hey, if you don't tell us, we're going to charge you right along with her.
To save his ass, he told what he knew.
I think he's going to be the main witness.
I think so too. And I said that from day one because you were always like, oh my God, why is he just allowed to go sit at his house and he's all silent? And
to
he
me,
knows
that
something.
ain't snitching though. When you see a baby get killed, that ain't snitching. Snitching is like when you tell on your friend.
No,
Yes,
I wasn't
that's
being
just being honest.
That's being the honest person.
I was being facetious when I said it. Not necessarily that he's a snitch like that, but I mean, if he was truly somebody that cared for children and was saying, hey, the baby was hurt, he should have done that from day one we saw that baby get hurt. Because he saw that baby get hurt.
Yeah.
So he's saving his own ass.
If I was in that room and something happened like that.
Or I at least stopped it. I'd at least stopped it and notified CPS, the authorities, something like that. Like, and he probably watched that abuse go on for a long time. A long time.
I could see her being all lovey-dovey and then just snapping.
Yeah, well, that's what the little girl told me down there, that she's real calm, and she goes from calm to 100 in a matter of seconds.
Exactly.
And like when the baby was in the pool, she came out real calm and told the little girl, hand me the baby. And she did. And then she beat the crap out of Quentin.
And nobody did anything.
I
mean, it seems like, good people seeing bad people doing bad shit and not saying a damn word.
Mm-hmm.
You got some shit. You got some shit to explain to the Lord when you go, bud.
That's the same thing I said. I think he's just as responsible. The whole deal thing, maybe they didn't have no evidence and they need him. That would be the only reason I'd give him a deal. If not, I would charge him with accessory to murder.
I mean, if he wasn't sitting there beating the baby, there's no way to do that, because then you're going to charge her mama, her stepdad,
if he's in the
her
room,
brothers.
listen, they don't all live in the room together, the same room. They were a couple. They were in a room together with the kids, probably by themselves. So he sat there and watched it. The other people were in different rooms.
You really think
he could have been asleep? We don't know.
If she was,
how you gonna beat a baby to death? How you gonna beat a baby to death with you asleep in the bed and you not hear that?
With a woman like that goes from 0 to 1,000, she could kill a baby in 30 seconds, and you'd wake up and it'd be done.
Yeah, but you would know it's done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you should call 911 right away.
And he didn't.
He didn't. That's why
he's an accessory to murder. That's how I look at it.
Because Billy Joe and her crew probably would have offed his ass if they knew he snitched on him like that. That's why he split so quick.
I don't know. I just know that there's no way he didn't know that baby was being beaten. He didn't watch it happen. I think everybody in that
house knew. Because if she was so easy to beat that baby in front of a random kid that hung out there in the pool, you don't think she would just snatch him up and beat him any other time?
Yes, I do. So
then she was
that was just one instance. She was beating him in the front yard one day.
Right. So she
and only him, not any of the other kids.
Yeah, I never heard about her beating on any of the other kids. That's the crazy thing about it, is she wasn't violent to all the kids, just him. Allegedly.
That's bizarre, man.
It is. And it probably has something.
Hated their daddy.
The daddy, I think it has exactly. She fucking hated Bubba, and
he reminded her of him or some shit.
Yeah, but he looked so much like her that it's almost scary.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's like beating yourself, like you're looking in a mirror, and like it's crazy, man. I don't.
But I think BJ or Billy Joe, whatever she put into these kids while raising them has a lot to do with
how they act.
Yeah,
because you're a product of your environment.
As they were little kids and what they were experiencing, they probably saw violence and all kinds of that.
For sure.
Crackhead behavior, everybody beating on one another all the time.
I believe so too. And like I said, kids are sponges. They just suck up everything around them, and you're a product of your environment, and their environment was screwed up.
Exactly.
All right, Mab, you be good.
All right. Peace.
Bye.
All right, peace. Product of your environment. So, and Jenn Soto. Now, this lady should be in prison.
I agree.
Now, I could argue Billy Joe need to be locked up, but it is nowhere near on the same level as
I agree.
Jenn Soto. Dolly. You got to turn us down in the background.
Hey.
Hey. You got to turn us down, Lisa. We can still hear ourselves. We'll echo.
No, never mind. My son did it. I thought I hit the right button, but I guess I didn't.
Okay. You're good now.
What Molly's saying is the tip, right?
Oh, thank you, Miss Sunshine.
Say it one more time.
Leilani's case, trial, whatever, is the tip, right?
Well, yeah, the jury selection is the 9th. Wednesday.
Right.
So.
Okay. So you're going to be going in there on the tip, though, right?
Yeah, as soon as jury's selected, they won't let you in while they're selecting jury. But as soon as the jury is selected,
I wanted to keep track of this because that's why I first started watching you, because my twin's birthday is that day. What a day!
Oh,
yeah. So I'll say I ain't gonna be keeping up with much. I guess I have to go to replay.
Yeah.
But somebody say that they sold that house. I thought I heard it on.
Yes, they've remodeled the house. They've sold the house. I don't know where they're at now. I don't really care.
Oh, really? What's that little girl's name? What's the mother's name?
Billy Joe.
Is she still with Pat's man?
I've heard different things. I've heard they're together. I heard they split up at one time. It may be some off and on stuff.
Oh, okay.
But I'm sure. See, the thing is, they had owned another house around the corner too. He did.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, but I don't think they're in that house because that lady that just called, she lives right on that same road.
Oh.
So I don't think they're in that house because his daddy was living in that house when I was down there. I'm not for sure. I just know it's a family home and his daddy lives in it. So they may be somewhere else.
And didn't her parents, didn't her mom live around there too?
I'm not for sure. I mean, most of their friends and family were around there.
Okay.
So
I wonder if they're still doing what? What were they, welders or something?
Welders, yeah. I don't know how she passes a drug test to be a welder, but.
I don't know.
But
do you really think she's still doing it?
I mean, I hope I hope she's clean and off of drugs. I honestly do. But when I was there, she was definitely on drugs.
Oh, I know. But remember, did she go to jail or something did she go to jail for a little while?
Not since this has happened, no.
I thought BJ did go to jail for a little while.
She went to jail.
Oh, no, she went to jail for, what was it? Something in court.
Something to do with Leilani's case.
Right.
Yeah, she had an earbud in or something, didn't she?
Oh.
I forget, but yeah, she went to jail for like 3 days or something like that for something she did. Something she did in court. Yeah. 10 days. Wasn't it 10 days?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a failure to appear or some reason she went to jail for 10 days.
I would have find
Well, it seems like she did a tape.
What was it?
I'm about to pull it up. I was looking at it a minute ago.
Yeah, she went to jail. I remember she went to jail you're right, for like 10 days or something like that.
It seems like she did a taste to jail. She stayed off those drugs for a while, so she went back in.
I thought she had an earpiece in or something, and they hit her with attempt to court or something like that for having an earpiece in. I maybe, it's been 2 years, so I might be remembering.
It was a contempt of court.
It was attempt to court?
But, hold on.
But I do feel like PJ's right. Everybody in that house is responsible. Everybody.
I agree. I mean, but I think there's some people that were not just responsible, but were accessories to it.
Exactly. She was doing it like PJ said. If she did it in front of that little girl at the pool, she did it in front of that old man.
They're saying she violated a gag order.
She violated a gag order.
Okay.
10 days in jail for violating court order.
Yeah. Okay. So I remember it was like 10 days for attempt to court, and so yeah, she sat in jail a little piece of time for that. Not long.
So where's Danny
suicide prevention?
Huh?
Where has Danny been hiding?
He been in North Carolina. He don't live in the state. He moved out of the state.
Oh, I know, but you think he got in her lead, that weather we got?
I mean, say that one more time.
Do you think he got any of that weather in North Carolina?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know where in North Carolina
He's
at.
in. I know where he's at. I know where he's at. No, I think he's right off of 95. So
wait, keep him from coming
How does
to
that
court.
matter?
no, it shouldn't keep him from coming to court. I'm about to go right through there tomorrow.
Oh, you're leaving tomorrow?
Huh?
You're leaving tomorrow?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow.
Dolly, you're not that far from Georgia.
I know, but I'm not driving it straight. I'm making a stop.
Oh, then you ain't that far. Well,
Yeah.
anyway, that girl, and also, didn't I'm getting PJ. BJ lose her kids for a while, and her mother took the kids because she couldn't take them, or Child Protective Service took them. Remember?
Yes.
Who did say that?
Billy Joe's mama took her kids when
Yeah,
Billy Joe was
she took
doing the
Brandon.
prostituting and all that. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
History repeats itself.
History repeats itself. Yeah,
Right.
it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, but how would the same system give BJ authority over those
She
kids?
knows somebody.
Get her phone taken away.
I don't know. Remember, she was prostituting, so you don't know who she was sleeping with. You know what I'm saying?
I don't care who you're sleeping with. That's bullcrap. Law's the law.
She's about to get them kids again.
Listen, when they murdered the baby, they were arresting protesters and trying to get her out of Dodge. They were treating these people way too good. And I thought something was up then. I was like, they must know somebody. They must have friends in law enforcement. Why are the police treating them like they saints and treating people that are out there screaming you a baby killer like you were robbing a bank?
Yeah, you're right. It was probably inside. She knew somebody from the inside.
I mean, I don't know that as fact, but that's what I felt like. I was like, okay, y'all gonna arrest me, but this lady over there done murdered a baby, and she's sitting here having a cookout, drinking beer. You know what I'm saying? So make it make sense that they were worried about little crimes more than they were a big crime.
I think it's all messed up. Wait, is Augusta, Georgia near Savannah?
I mean, it's not too far from it, but it's a little ways.
Well, yeah, because they got a lot of storm damage.
Savannah got damaged.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, but it's not as bad.
I'm not going to bed.
Okay.
Till 11.
I'm gonna wrap up in just a few minutes.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to hang it out? Or?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. What now?
Sorry.
I said, you feel safe going down there?
Yeah, I feel safe. I mean, my whole stuff is self-contained, right? So if all the power went out and everybody lost everything, my stuff is good. I still have internet, still have power. I got generators. I'm good.
Oh, so you got all your stuff fixed up. Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking gas with me, every extra gas, so I don't have to worry about all that shit. If all power goes out, I'm good to go.
So PJ's not going with you?
Nope.
Now, she has to work. She has to work.
Oh, so you're not taking Lolo, obviously. PJ's got us.
Say it one more time. You're kind of like.
But you're not taking Lolo because PJ will have her.
Yeah, it's going to just be me because I'm going to be sitting in court most of the day. It's going to be me in court. But anyway, Lisa, you be good.
Well, okay. Be safe.
All right.
Safe.
All right. Peace. Okay. So, guys, I'm going to close the phone lines real quick because me and PJ ain't got long left to be with you guys. We want to touch in on just a little tiny bit on the Jenn Soto stuff?
I wanted to see what the plunder video was about, but it's already 11:05 and I've got to get up in the morning.
I got to get up too. So, all right, guys, look, we're going to wrap it up because we both got to be up. But here's the moral of the whole Jenn Soto thing. This woman should be in prison.
I agree.
Right. And I think everybody out there, we're on the same page as this one. She's literally texting a man, telling him to lawyer up. She called his dad and told his dad to get him a lawyer. And this is after she found out that her child was being big M by this man. And after she seen the pictures. Right. And she wanted to see the pictures or she would not believe it. That's what she told the police. If I want to see him, and the police were like, are you sure you want to see these pictures? And she was like, yeah. And then after that, remember she even said that's not evil. Right?
Yeah.
That even after she knew that he had molested her daughter, she still said he would not hurt my daughter. I think these are two separate things.
She doesn't even look at that as being hurtful. That's a serious problem.
That is a serious problem. Like, listen, now I know they gave this lady immunity for some of the things she said, but you know, they need to arrest this lady, put her ass in jail. That poor little girl. I honestly believe, and this is just my opinion, that woman was taking part in what was going on with her daughter. If not, she was pimping her daughter out. There's no way she turned a blind eye to it and she didn't know what was going on. That is crazy to even think, right? Crazy. So she is a monster, just like Stephan Stearns is a monster.
She's worse to me.
Leilani's a monster, right? And anybody can sit back and watch a baby be hurt, okay, is a monster. Like Danny, to me, he's a monster, just like Leilani. I know a lot of people like, well, he's the witness. I don't give a damn what he is. To me, he is a baby killer. He was there. There's no way he slept through a baby being beat to death. He knew where she went that morning to dispose of the baby, right? He knew these things. And he did nothing to stop this or anything to stop the abuse. He's just as bad as Leilani Simon. And hopefully, you know, I'm wrong about what evidence they have, and they do bring something into court solid, and they convict this girl and bury her ass under the jail. Now, people from Georgia have been telling me they've been handing out life sentences like it's nothing. Here's a life sentence, here's a life sentence, here's a life sentence. Well, they better give this girl one.
Well, if
right?
she's as easily to slip through stuff like she has been, I don't know about all that. I wouldn't.
And then you see this young girl and people feel sorry for her.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They feel sorry for her.
She had to have gone through something in life to get like that. I mean, I see that too.
Yeah, and I mean, people are going to feel sorry for her. And is that going to work in her favor? I pray to God it don't. Don't be fooled by what you see. Look, the boogeyman and monsters, they come in all kinds of shells, right? Shells that look like little innocent chicks, but that don't mean you ain't a monster. You can still be a monster. So I hope they see through this shit and she is sentenced to what she deserves. They see her over there fake crying. They're like, oh, look at this poor little girl, and then they start that what is it?
I think they're going to go that route.
Yeah.
Her baby was only a month.
20 months.
She wasn't 20 months. She was small. Quentin was 19 months.
Yeah.
The baby was like real small, like a month.
Well,
so that really like post-traumatic. Postpartum.
Postpartum, yeah. And I hope they don't,
I think that would be the route I would
and then
go.
People feel sorry for her.
She lost her mind for a split second.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen. Watch. When they go to that defense route, I'm going to tell you, I told you so.
Now, listen, if I was a defense attorney, I would learn from Casey Anthony. I would go with the Casey Anthony defense. There's no way to prove how this baby died. The baby's been crushed. The baby drowned, fell down the stairs, or drowned in the bathtub, and I covered up the death. That would be that's what I would tell my client to go with, because we seen what happened with Casey Anthony.
Yeah.
Right. And she's never said how the baby died. So when she comes,
that you know of,
that I know of,
she didn't say it to you.
She didn't say
they wanted her testimony to be freaking wiped too, because she said something in the very beginning. They said that she didn't read her Miranda rights.
Well, we're what, just a week from finding out?
Mm-hmm.
Just a week. And soon as I hear it in court, even though they're not going to be broadcasting it, trust me, Dolly's going to let you know what her defense is. So listen, guys, thank y'all for tuning in. If you haven't, make sure you hit that like button. Do we want to leave with a question?
Yeah, you're always good at coming up with that.
Coming up with the question. What evidence do you think they have against Leilani Simon? All right. You guys tell me that in the comment box down below this video after it's over. Don't tell me on the side chat, because we won't see it. But after this video ends, tell me what evidence you think they have. Solid evidence against Leilani that they pulled out that house. All right. And also, what do you think about Jenn Soto texting Stephan Stearns and telling him to lawyer up?
She's trash.
And this will be the last night for call-ins, because I'm going to be on the road. You never know. I might be able to hook it up. I have 2 phones, so we may do call-ins. while I'm on the road. But I will see you guys tomorrow. I ain't gonna tell y'all where I'm gonna be at, but we're gonna be somewhere cool, and I'll see y'all then. All right. Until then, peace, guys. Want to say bye, PJ?
Bye, PJ.
Bye, PJ.